Good afternoon and welcome everyone. I am Gary Godsoe and welcome to Velocity Online Racing's coverage of round 9 of season 13 of the VOR Signature Series, the IndyCar Championship, as we come to you today from Homestead Miami Speedway just outside of Vice City, the Homestead Miami 300, where today we are likely to crown a champion with still one race to go this season. Joining me as always in the booth is Kyle Klendworth. Clendy, welcome back to southern Florida. And in the middle of the swamplands, we decided to build a racetrack. The decision today is pretty much going to be who's going to be the champion, and that's pretty much Luis Nunez. But still some battles a little bit further down in the points, still to be decided here over the next couple of races.
Yeah, I think Luis Nunez really took control of this championship in Montreal a few weeks ago and then followed it up and rattle off wins and good finishes throughout the remainder of the season. All he really needs to do is survive today, but the rest of the points, I believe, are still in flux. With this track being really warm today, 116 degrees, about a fair 40 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it was yesterday in the iconic race, and the sun being high in the sky rather than in golden hour, we're going to see pit strategy, tire conservation, and fuel conservation matter a whole lot more today than it did yesterday.
There are the points. There you see Luis Nunez with a commanding 83-point lead over Julian Altena, who we're currently watching in the background there, making his qualification run. He has a 2-point edge over Liam O'Sullivan. Liam not in the lineup tonight, so I don't think it's going to open the doors to Savazzi to make it into fourth or third. But it will make things a lot closer going into the final race, but it might firm up Julian's grasp of P2 in the standings. But there you see the remainder of the standings. Orman, Murphy, Forsyth, Tessera, Christensen, and Millward, your top 10.
Matt Wagner on the provisional pole right now with just a few moments left to go in qualifying here. I believe it just wrapped up. Carroll Stout back from a one-way race suspension, qualifying in the top 5 here.
That's a good way to return. Turn fast.
No rust.
No, exactly. And we will get the starting lineup on the screen here for you momentarily. Only 17 cars today in the lineup, and Luis Nunez does have a qual ban from that got picked up from the previous race with enough penalty points. So he, despite everything, is going to start shotgun on this field. We'll give you the lineup here momentarily. No one wants to load in.
Little trick for all the drivers at home who are trying to save fuel on the grid here. Rather than not loading in, you can just press the ignition button, which is bound to I normally, and you can turn the IndyCar off so long as you're on pit road.
Yeah, it won't get hot. It won't get hot down there either. These things get these things really easily get warm because they really want airflow through those big gaps here on the side. Here, I'll circle them here on the screen here. That's how they cool off. Not only help the car with downforce, but they also that cools the radiators, those inlets there on the side. But we have our field now starting to show up on the grid. Matt Wagner on the pole in a new livery today. The winner earlier this season, in fact, the only driver to kind of break up the Luis Nunez dominance in the middle of the season is Wagner. He's on the pole with a speed of 2:06.3, the only driver in the 2:06 neighborhood. Strauss second, our surprise podium finisher in the iconic series last night. He comes home and is going to start this race second. Craig Forsyth in third, Julian Altena fourth, Carl Stout, as mentioned, in fifth, Tessera sixth, Mark Murphy, we expect a lot out of him today, he's in seventh, Vinnie Worth in eighth, Gary Lovern in ninth, and Patrick Savazzi has a long way to go in 10th, but he will storm forward, we're sure. Bosick Solwich, watch him from 11th. Hugo Gallas in 12th. Christensen in 13th. Inch in 14th. Pim Van Gastel on the apron there, coming up to speed in 15th. Bart in the, that is a Scotty D livery there in 16th. And Luis Nunez, shotgun on the field due to penalty as your starting lineup.
And I don't think it'll take long for Nunez just to settle into rhythm, not worry about attacking the drivers in front of him, just settle in to preserve his tires to pick them off later in this run. So keep an eye on him and Mark Murphy to move their way forward today. They're my ones to watch.
Round 9 of 10, the penultimate round of the VOR IndyCar Championship for season 13 underway. Matt Wagner, Strauss, Forsyth, and now Stout makes up a position. They are all barreling down in the one.
Stout got a good run to the bottom. Forsyth closed the door. Now he's looking to the outside. Stout's looking to break his way to the front of the field after being off for a week.
Ooh, Bennyworth way up in the wall. Now you got to wonder what Stout's going to do if he gets to Wagner.
Hopefully he races him clean.
I think he's going to race him clean. I think he's going to race him clean. We see Luis Nunez already up to 14.
What's so incredibly important about these early laps when everyone is all swamped together is to make sure that you offset your wings and you get clean air to create maximum downforce on your Dallara. We have a battle for the lead from Strauss.
He really wanted the lead. Luis Nunez purple lap that time by as they're still coming up to speed.
Bro, everything I said about Nunez wanted to set rhythm. His rhythm is fast. He's got the tempo cranked and he's working his way through this field.
Goes under Hugo, now under Christensen, and gets another 2 positions. Stout purple lap that time by as they are still coming up to speed.
Stout goes purple and Murph's up to 4th, running the low side to get around Altena. And Stout's looking for second here underneath Strauss. Couple of different ovals back-to-back here for Stout and Wagner. They've been running 1, 2. Same shape, different sizes. Let's see if the result plays out the same.
Murph now on Strauss. Going to take a peek to the inside on the lower banking there. This is progressively banked oval. There's higher banking up top. It doesn't look like that on the screen, but it's just a matter of a few degrees. Wagner, clean air, does all the wonders in the world, and he goes a 2:01 flat for the purple lap as they are still, again, coming up to speed, really, building up momentum one after another. Uncle Bobby used to say it's like a flywheel.
In my opinion, it's not really about what the engine can do. It's about temperature, operating temperature of the tires, and getting a little bit of rubber and heat in the racetrack. You saw a lot of drivers slide all the way up to the wall in 3 and 4 on the first lap. Cold tires on ovals are just as dangerous and treacherous as on a road course. It's just you're only cold for maybe 2 or 3 corners, rather than on a road course, which will be, 3/4 of a lap, maybe a lap and a half.
Yeah. Today's rule set, the fixed setup race provided by the league. The tire limits, I believe they're back to 5 sets, 1 in the car, 4 in the pits. Double check that for me if you would, Lindy. 85% fuel. Track is a 1.5 mile progressively banked oval. Race distance is 200 laps, 300 race miles. Pit road speed limit is 50 miles an hour.
I'm seeing 7 sets of tires.
7 sets of tires, okay.
So you get the ones you start with and 7 more, so 8 technically.
Yeah, you always get 1 set on the car, and then they have a allocated set in the pits, which sounds like an awful lot. So more than enough. Soul Edge gets a bit of a twitch between 3 and 4, but he does clear. And here comes Nunez to the bottom of Salvazzi. So I don't think they were expecting Nunez to be up with them so quickly. And there he is. He's looking for another position. Klendworth to the inside of Lovern.
Nunez is already up 6 spots in just 11 laps, so he's passed 1 car on average every other lap. He's got Silhouette in his sights next.
But what's the likelihood now, as we are now 11 of 200 into this thing? No no cautions yet. All green flag racing. Do we see them try to do this 50-50? So 50, 100, 150 home. Is that kind of the plan that we see here? Or does everyone want to go as long as possible? With a smaller field, we don't expect to see as many cautions. Kind of what's your thoughts on what the pit strategy might be?
Yeah, I think a 50-lap run is going to be optimal. It's right about the target fuel consumption number if you're pushing or full pushing. If you want to cut a stop from there, the next possible place, I think you'd have to go all the way up to 60 and some change laps, like 62 or 63. I'm getting some pit-in signals from Tessera and Gallez. It's way too early for that. Maybe they just fat-fingered a button, but we will see.
Watching Tessera, he does not enter the entrance to pit road, which is off of the backstretch, going into turn 3. Gallez also on the racetrack still.
Yeah, false alarms there. They must have been trying to key up thank you or something. I think it's like 1 and 3. You can get those confused sometimes.
Wagner, your leader by 1.2 over Stout. Stout up 3 spots to start this race. He is now in 2nd position. Murph in 3rd. Strauss, who started on the front row, 4th. And Julian Altena trying to get some points to get a little bit closer in the championship to make that final gap look a little bit more respectable. But still trying to firm up 2nd spot in the standings for himself. He is in 5th.
Forsyth side by side right now with Tessera. Not a lot of room. Forsyth giving a little bit of a pinch at the apex of the corner, allowing him to have full possession of the outside, which gives him a big run and sole possession of 6th place. Nunez is now attacking Silhouette, put himself in the top 10.
Oh, Solich up in the wall. And now he's trying to shake it off there. And now Nunez up
Taylor
in the
Swift
top 10.
played any concerts in Miami recently?
Yeah.
Shake it off. Shake it off. Yeah.
Oh, and that's not going to work for Soul Edge as he gets loose off of 2 and almost collects a number of cars in the process, but he noses into the wall. Maybe light damage on the nose, but we're under caution here at lap 17.
Yeah, so when you go back and take a look at this, Gary, you'll just see that he cranks a little bit too much wheel and maybe is a little too throttle happy on the exit of the corner here. Maybe has a little bit too much weight jacker or a little bit too much rear bar. You actually see the front of the tires, the front of the car slides first, which is, it's very, very easy to do. You're just trying to get the car to turn, and you just put more wheel in it, and then the tires don't stick, right? And that caused the rears to lose grip. So even though it looks like he lost control of the rears, he lost control of the fronts first.
He gets it spun around after light contact with the wall, gets it in the gear, and slams it forward, so he will visit pit road.
I think he's going to be fine. Just a new wing, and he'll be ready to get back on track. I think we have a couple people staying out. Looks like Altena and Christensen, both of the Altena Autosports entries, are staying out on the racetrack. This could be a pivotal point in the race, just to see who's on strategy A and strategy B.
Get it out. Get it out. Wagner on pit road. He's down and away. Stout raced him off. Comes out second. Murph in third. Strauss in fourth. This is just the order coming off of pit road. There's Greg Forsyth, Tessera, Bennyworth, and Lovern, your top 10. But Altena and Christensen, so the Altena Autosports gang splitting strategies. The lead 2 cars a day decide to stay out, while the other members decide to split the strategy and come in.
And I think this could play very well into the hand of Carroll Stout. He has 2 friends in front of him and a foe. His 2 friends will help him with his foe, and he may be the first car with new tires to get to the lead uninhibited.
Altena Autosports cars making up 3 of the top 4. Wagner is the only one to break that right now. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to go green next time by lap 21. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give a thumbs up if you can. Ring the bell for the next race. Next race for us will be next week. We will decide the iconic championship at Chicagoland. We'll talk more about that as we get into this race. And then the next race for the IndyCar is also next week. It's championship weekend here in the Blossy Online Racing IndyCar and Iconic Series next weekend at Chicagoland. IndyCars will also be at Chicagoland to round out the campaign. Championship already pretty much decided with the start of this race. Nunez up to 11th spot. Pace car bounces off the apron as it comes to pit road. Julian brings him up to speed, and we're already battling for third as Stout takes a peek. But now Stout defends to the inside and throws some major shade at Murphy, preventing Murphy from getting on by. I'm sure that's not going to make Murph happy. There's Luis Nunez down low, picking off another one of the Altena Autosports cars. He's taking a peek at Lovern, not going to be able to get to the position. Tucks back in. Now we're going to go possibly 3 wide through 3 and 4.
Bennyworth on the high side, taking advantage there.
And move Nunez now up to 10th. Meanwhile, back up towards the leaders is Carl Stout second, Altena Wagner now third. Christensen going back to fourth, now fifth. Here comes Murphy up to fourth.
That's going to be those old tires. Christensen's going to get in dirty air here, and he's going to start falling back faster and faster. The 19-lap fresher tires that everyone else has are going to make them look like they're in a different class of vehicle.
Whoa. And Julian takes off in the lead. You just saw him set a purple lap, even though he has those older tires. That is the benefits of, and he does it again at 2:01.4. That is the benefit of clean air here at Homestead.
Christensen split the middle of 3 wide. Forsyth on the bottom. No trauma, no drama. Sort of all the way.
So just in a matter of, just a matter of a couple of laps starting this race, starting the stint. Christensen now back to 8th as he's going to get passed on the high side and the low side from Nunez. So Christensen, just in a matter of laps, restarts second and is now back to 10th.
And it's all air. If Altena were in the same position, getting the same dirty air with the same hot old tires, he'd be going back just the same. But it's the difference of one position will make or break your race.
Oledge is back in the running order. He's now 15th. Got around Pim and Bart. Looks like he's kind of no worse for wear at this point. We'll see as this tires wear off, if the handling of his car maintains. Christensen is falling all the way back to sole edge now.
One thing about these drivers who stopped on lap 19, Gary, is that instead of cutting a stop now at 66 laps, they cut a stop at 61 laps, then 60-60. So instead of the 50, 100, 150, these folks will be looking to go to something like 79 and 159 and then home.
This battle here in the mid-pack. Murphy gaining on Wagner a little bit. Then we got Forsyth about 5/10 behind him. And we got Teixeira, Strauss, Bennyworth all close together. In fact, here is Bennyworth taking a peek to the inside of Strauss. Oh, cars really now want to slide up in those corners. Here are your track conditions: 112 on the track temp, 86 on the ambience.
I bet Bennyworth is thinking right now, what do I have to do to get Marcos Teixeira to not run the same line I'm running every corner? He goes high one lap, and Marcos also goes high. He goes low the next, and Marcos also goes low. Marcos is just doing what's the best for him because he's trying to get the clean air around Forsyth as he builds a run here down the front.
And it's Teixeira, the car right in front of him there. You see on the in-car here.
That's what I love about this speedway.
Yeah, there's Teixeira right there. And Teixeira likes that high side because there's nobody on the high side in front of him. Big lift from Bennyworth. Look at that. The middle of the corner down to 184.
I'm gonna say something scary to our viewers at home and maybe the drivers. 184, it's not slow enough. If you go slower in the middle of the corner, the tires will thank you.
Out the back of Bennyworth's car, there is, I guess we can call him provisionally our season 13 champion. Officially, he'll probably be the champion when points are awarded at the end of this race. Teixeira continues to work the high side. Now he's getting a bit of a run on Forsyth.
Craig is such a gentleman. A lot of racers on the service would see that the run that Teixeira is building on the high side has been a bit of a top feeder. And as soon as he gets within passing position like he is now, fade up, feed dirty air to the driver behind you. Craig never does that unless it's at the very end of the race for him. Such a respectable driver.
And to the inside this time of Craig, and Teixeira gets the position.
Now we'll see where Teixeira gets to go with unfettered access to the whole track. Strauss puts himself to the inside of Forsyth. They're almost 3 wide, 3 different lanes for 3 different drivers. Don't get that on many tracks on the service, and they all come out of the quarter right at the same speed. Some things I see a lot of race fans ask is, well, if the high side's so fast, Kyle Larson's so fast up there, how come everyone's not on the high side going as fast as they can every lap? Kind of 2 big problems with that. One, there's very little room for error, especially in this car. If you run the high side and you smack the wall, you've damaged your right side pod and you're going to take a 10% speed penalty for the rest of the day. That is not good at all. The second thing is that it eats up and burns up your tires. Using the high side is harder on your equipment, and it punishes your long run pace. If you look at our front 2 leaders, they're both being dedicated and married to the bottom side of the track. Altena's let his tires last these many laps because he's only ran the bottom every lap. He's been very disciplined. And Carroll Stout's following right in his footsteps. But we'll get to go about 19 laps further on fuel.
All right. Trying to bring up some notes I took, and my notepad wasn't loaded, and it loads in the main screen. That's awesome.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Forsyth is still mounting a charge back onto Sarah. A high side to low side tire conversion ratio is probably just about happened. You'll probably see Craig here start to build a run and try to inch his way by Marcos, or maybe go further to the outside of him just to get around him, so he can have a full racetrack of air, so long as Mark Murphy decides not to block him.
So in the last 5 seasons of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship, we've had 5 different champions. Going back to Murphy in season 9. There is Murphy P4 right now. He was the season 9 champion. Then we had Matthias Kraus in season 10. Bruno Miranda with his 2nd series championship in season 11. Jesper Orman with his 2nd season series championship in season 12, and then then Luis Nunez for season 13. A lot of if you're looking for a league with a lot of parity, this is one of them. Caution on the racetrack.
Oh, trouble out of turn 4.
Bostic Soul Wedge again, not having a great day.
Other end of the racetrack this time.
Back underway. Let's see what happens.
That's what I warned about. It's that high side. It just sucks you into the wall. When he turned off of it, the car decided to turn too much and spun harmlessly down the front stretch. No side pod damage.
He did get into the wall right before. Kind of similar to what we saw him when he hit the wall the first time, except he didn't spin then. This time he does spin, and that really, really plays in to Julian's hands.
A little bit early for the 50 stop, but he's absolutely got to pit here, and John Christensen is probably smiling all the way to the bank because he had lost touch with the rest of the field, but at least being able to reset here without the fear of going a lap down to the whole field, should you get a caution during the overlap between the 2 strategies.
Here's a pass for the lead. We missed that while we were watching the battle kind of further on back. And Stout just dives in at the last moment, just gets to that corner turn and just sends it to the bottom underneath Julian. And just before the caution comes out, he had a nose ahead.
Timed that one perfectly. No one stays out this time. And just like that, we're all on one strategy again.
Out off on pit road first, comes out first, then Julian, then Wagner. Sarah moves up the 4th. Forsyth
Wagner
5th.
actually got wing damage on pit road, and it took him an extra 5 seconds.
What happened with Wagner on pit road?
It was net code. Wagner didn't get close to anyone on entry.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Interesting. Or if he just decided he wanted to go to the back of the pack. I don't know.
He came over comms and said he had a busted front wing, so.
Okay, we did not see anything change on that car. Now, it is a black car with a black background behind it, so if there was a slight damage there, we might not have saw it graphically adjust itself. Murphy going to the bottom of the racetrack down the, Forsyth going to the bottom of the racetrack down the front stretch. Trying to save some critical drops of fuel here. Again, we are close to that, what we talked about, what we think the strategy might have been is to go 50, 100, 150, and then home. Might be trying to save some critical drops of fuel. All right, we're going to go green this time by. Carl Stout's going to bring us to the green flag, and it's going to be Stout, Altenham, Murphy, Teixeira now in fourth. He's up 2 spots from where he started. Forsyth in fifth, Strout 6th. Luis Nunez up 10 full spots to 7th now. Bennyworth 8th, Gallus 9th, Silvazzi in 10th. Here we go.
Good jump from Stout, waits to take him late. Forsyth and Teixeira negotiating the tail end of the top 5 here.
Three wide down the front stretch. They get situated very quickly. Wagner on the move, down low under Hugo Gallez.
Wags missed the bottom by just a little bit, but Hugo went all the way to the top, and those fresher tires are just have so much grip. Very easy to just overdrive the car on the bottom and beat someone who's taking it easy on the top. The roles have reversed the next lap. Gallus on the bottom, going to clear himself up in front of Wags.
Oh, Wags uses the banking and crosses him over.
Ain't enough air for Wagner to clear himself here if he wants it, but Gallus is there. He was too late.
Nice little battle here for 9th spot. Teixeira getting back up to Forsyth again. Again, Teixeira staying on the high side. Forsyth, exit of the corner, comes up to the high side to feed a little dirty air the way of Teixeira.
Oh, Murphy just blinked out. He's back. I was afraid that we lost connection there. Oh, big dive to the down. The low side of the track for Bennyworth as he's on the low side of Nunez. The elevator down about 4 flights there.
Oh, Bennyworth did not give Nunez a lot of space there to turn into the corner. You saw
Wagner's going to try to get them both.
You saw Luis Nunez kind of adjust his line a little bit, and you're right, Wagner is there. We got a 3-way battle here. For 7th spot, it is Bennyworth, Nunez, and Wagner. Whoa, Bennyworth, now we're going to go 3 wide down the front stretch. Does Wagner thread the needle? No, he goes to the bottom, and he gets both positions.
2-for-1 special at Wagner Depot. Get them in turn 1 while they're hot.
Murphy's flashing out again. You wonder maybe Wagner's crew put the super special front nose on.
Super special front nose, super special tires, super special fuel, and that's called a heated driver. A little bit hot about stuff that's happened on the racetrack, and he is locked in.
Wagner running frontnose.exe right now. Meanwhile, since Nunez has got to the top 10, it's a little bit of tougher going there as the quality of driver, once you get up into the top 10, starts, and also you got not only better quality drivers also up there, but they also tend to have cars that are behaving a little bit better, and he is finding it rough going now. As soon as he got into the top 10, he's not been advancing as quickly as he was when he started this race at the tail end of the field.
What I said earlier about Craig being a gentleman who doesn't really take your air, the better the driver you are in the IndyCar series, the more air you take from your competitors. So he is definitely the exception to the rule. As Lewis gets closer and closer to the front of this racetrack, the drivers in front of him are going to say, hey, oh, that guy's fast. I'm going to run with him square in the middle of my mirror to keep him behind me.
Yeah, that people like thinking, that's the champ, man. He's the champ at the end of this race, more than likely. I'm not going to cut that guy any slack.
Yeah, I want to beat him. I can beat the champ. Pennyworth and Nunez side by side in the line. Pennyworth's car almost camouflaged here up against the wall.
Yeah.
Same color scheme.
Definitely got that Vice City feel to it.
I always get a little afraid that my competitors won't be able to see me if I run like a dark front or same color as the wall, because in the mirror, if your car looks like pavement, it's hard to see, right? So that's why I really like running those tealish, bluish colors. I feel like I stand out better with those mirrors.
Do you think with Graham Rahal with his Indy 500 livery, the high visibility one, do you think that helps him?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you see this car, people at home, but
yeah, the safety vest.
It's got the high visibility safety vest on it. Here's Nunez to the inside once more. Benny, we're trying to get this pass done, but the high side, especially with 15-lap-old tires, yep, exactly, they are starting to not make the low side as effective.
One piece of events I want to get the viewers at home updated on. 5 or 6 laps ago, Gary Lovern and Tim Van Gastel had a little bit of netcode contact in turn 1 and 2, and Gary Lovern has retired from the race due to that damage.
Nunez and Benny were still fighting it out.
That's letting Silvazzi and Gallas get closer and closer. I think Nunez is going to put the period to the end of that paragraph. That battle has come to an end. Drivers all kind of spaced out, the same amount of room between them, all the way from Murphy to Wagner.
Silvazzi giving a go at Gallas to get into the top 10, but thought better of it, tucked back in line. Going to take another shot now, going down the front straight. Carl Stout still your leader, Altena second. Murphy now third, Forsyth fourth, Strauss in fifth. Been watching these battles in the mid-pack. There's Strauss and Becerra. Kind of a bit of a close train from fourth on back to seventh at the moment. You see right in your picture, 4th, 5th, and 6th. 7th as they creep in. 66 of 200. Go ahead.
Sarah's been committing to the high side, but not entirely. He's running what I like to call the middle top. He could put his right sides up on the wall and run the top, basically lane 4. Right now, he's kind of running lane 3.5. I'm not sure if he would harvest better results if he ripped it all the way up by the boards, but right now I think he's content just to get clean air and see if Strauss and Forsyth want to mix it up a little bit more. Can't wait all day because Wagner's there now.
And that gets Wagner around to Sarah. Wagner still a man on the move. That new wing coming in very handy, apparently. Now entering the second half of this run. Carl Stout, your leader by 1.8 seconds over Julian Altena. Julian, second right now on the racetrack, second in the points, looking to firm that up. Now Mark Murphy starting to chase him down just a little bit. Let's get you some gaps here. Kind of show you where the close battles are starting to formulate. And right now, Strauss and Wagner and Forsyth is really the closest battle on the racetrack. Stovazzi getting around Gallus.
Nunez is going to be on the attack on Tessera here in just a moment. He's been putting down better laps. He's about 0.2 of a second faster 2 laps ago and 1/10 this past lap.
He's there now. He's going to be attacking this lap, but Wagner gives him the dirty air. He goes to the middle lane. He has to catch it a little bit. That's going to cost him some space on the racetrack. Becerra on the high side trying to get a peek around Wags. Wags does a very defensive line coming off the corner. Another defensive line off the corner there. Go ahead.
Nunez wants Wags to hightail it out of here, but hey, man, I want the bottom. Stop taking it from me. Like there, Nunez put his left sides all the way down on the white line, whereas Wagner ran, I don't know, half a car width off the bottom. Yeah, look at Nunez hunt the white line there, whereas Wagner hunts it on exit.
Two of these drivers in your picture right there, Wagner and Luis Nunez, they have won all of the last 5 races, one way or another. Mostly it's been Nunez, but Wagner got the win at Nashville earlier. Nunez went on a three-race win streak. Trying to say, middle of the season, winning Iowa, Montreal, and then the big 500 at Indianapolis. Wags broke that streak at Nashville, but Lewis won the last race at Portland, our final road course of the season. Lewis has swept the road courses this season at Montreal and at Portland. Oh, he hasn't said that. Take that back. Salvazzi got the win at Watkins Glen, and for race 2, Watkins Glen, he got the win there. We'll give him his flowers once again. He's back there in 10th. He's getting oh so close to getting his first oval win. He's a little struggle today down in 10th spot. Had a podium locked up yesterday for the Iconic Series and got tangled with Liam O'Sullivan coming to the white flag. Was very disappointed after that race.
And his whole team really had his back there in the interview room.
Yeah,
probably one of the least excited third place podium finishers I've ever heard.
True.
Gutted.
Back up front, it is Carl Stout in the solid gold car. Right behind him, Julian Altena by 1.7 seconds now. Murph in third. Forsyth in fourth. And then there's Strauss in fifth. But the closest battle right now on the racetrack is still this whole battle around Wagner, Teixeira, and Nunez. It's a watch.
Nunez has got it.
Nunez's point of view, yeah, he just sends it down there at the bottom. Going to slide up. Is he going to slide up? And he slides up and slams the door.
That was nothing Nunez did better than Teixeira. It's because Wagner finally came off the bottom. He ran the higher line, and Teixeira either wasn't expecting it or wasn't ready for it, and Nunez took advantage.
Updated weather reports. 107 on the track. Temperature, a big run for on the high side for Teixeira. Just could not maintain it. 86 on the ambient.
Cooling down here in the afternoon.
Been a while since the Indy cars in real life have raced here last. I suspect, though, this is one of those type of tracks that would probably do pretty well with the IR18 chassis in real life if they ever were to come back here.
One car on pit road. It is John Christensen. Undercutting pretty aggressively here. We'll see if that pays off for him.
Strauss and Forsyth side by side through 3 and 4. Here comes Nunez to the bottom side of Wagner. He's going to clear him. Not quite. Wag's like, no, I'm going to cross you over. Nunez gives a little bit of a fade down there. Let him know, think double about it. Or as Lee Corsos likes to say, not so fast, my friend.
Pretty hard to think twice when it's pretty hard for me to think first time. Really hard for me to have double thoughts.
Well, especially how fast these cars run. Football field every couple of seconds at worst, actually.
And Nunez is showing Craig just how far a football field is. He's made that up in one lap between him and the 99. Bring that fiercely forward machine even closer to the front as he is wheel-to-wheel with Forsyth down the front straight away. This is going to come down to where Strauss positions in 1 and 2. Strauss goes to the bottom, feeds the dirty air to Nunez.
You see Nunez sliding up.
Yeah, Forsyth's tires are looking like they are almost done. Oh, he drives it into 3 pretty deep. Uses all of the banking all the way up to the high line. And Nunez still clears him even with dirty air. If I were Craig, I would pit now. I want those tires off my car as soon as possible.
43-lap-old tires for all of the racers right now. Dan Inch just pitted. Gary Lovern still on pit road from his earlier incident. Christensen just pitted not too long ago, as you saw on your screen. But everyone from 12th on up. Here goes Nunez again for another spot. I wonder now, it's just on those laps that we saw him kind of hanging out back there. Maybe he wasn't finding it harder to pass. Maybe he was just taking better care of his tires and allowing him later in this run to make up these spots on people up front that were maybe racing a little bit harder than he was.
I think that's exactly what happened, and that's what I expected to see at the beginning of the race, but he went full attack. Wagner pulls down to pit road and took a little bit of a lawn care treatment to get there. Helped out the servicing crew here.
Looking for his stall. Boom, all the way down at the end of pit road, up on the pneumatic jacks. New set of Firestone Firehawks and a fresh tank of fuel. Down and away.
Now what he wants to see is clean air when he gets onto the racetrack. He doesn't want anyone in front of him. But it looks like he's going to come out right behind Bart Feuerstein.
Back to this battle on the racetrack between Forsyth and Teixeira. Now we see Christensen with the fresher tires. You're right.
It's not for finishing order position, just for track time, track position. What a move from Teixeira. Bottom to top. Forsyth sticks it on his side pod. Teixeira position.
Fresh tires indeed. Wagner goes fast as 2:03.3.
Nunez is really going to work here on the lead that Murphy, Altena, and Stout have built.
Another purple lap for Wags. Go ahead.
Nunez is about a 1/10 of a lap faster than Murphy, and almost as fast as Altena and Stout, who have considerably thinner air.
Now, right now, Julian is technically in clean air. He is out of the draft envelope of Stout. He's 1.7 behind. Murphy's still in the dirty air of Julian. He's only 1 second behind. Nunez clearly in the dirty air of Murphy at 0.8 behind.
And Nunez is doing everything right to be in position to challenge these podium sitters currently over the last 100 laps of this race. And at this pace, I have no doubt in my mind that he'll be knocking on the door for second or first place before the end of this race.
Battle between Silvazzi and Bennyworth. This is for 8th and 9th. Oh, Bennyworth almost followed the dirty air right up into the wall.
A little bit of aero push, a little bit of target fixation. You see the car in front of you and you go, oh, I want to draft him because we're on the straightaway now. But you're not yet on the straightaway. You're still transitioning out of the banking.
Julian, pit road, 52 laps into his stint.
Now we get to see if Mark Murphy decides to go long, long, long and overcut here. Now that he has clean air, it seems like he goes at least one more lap. Stout's in as well.
Stout's on as well, so that is your leader coming to pit road in the solid gold car. Also on pit road, Bennyworth. Also on pit road, Hugo Galles. Our leader coming to pit road.
Murphy.
We watch our leader hit his marks, slides in a little bit. Down and away. There's Murph, there's Nunez. Stout, down and away. On the access road, we just saw Julian coming off of 4. I don't know how close this is going to be. Not very. Silvazzi coming to pit road.
It'll be much closer between Nunez and Murphy. Nunez did a great job getting onto pit road. They're going to be almost side by side, nose to tail coming out of the pits here.
Yeah, they are. Murph just cuts right in front of him. He says, nope, I got this position. And they're both on the access road where it's very slippery, no banking. Got to be very careful coming up the speed down here. You can lose the car very easily.
Look where Wagner is with that near 9-lap undercut. He's well ahead of Altena, but their lap times right now, Wagner is about 1/10, 2/10 of a second slower than Altena. So he'll be playing defense here shortly, but he's definitely found a short-term gain.
Rouse, not the cleanest stop, but he does make it into his box up on the jacks. Leaders now will start to approach and pass him. There they do. Stout back as your leader. Wagner with that undercut now in second. Julian now third. Mark Murphy in fourth. Luis Nunez in fifth. That's your top 5. After this round of pit stops, we just passed the halfway mark. One more stop to go in this race. We expect that final stop anytime around 150 to 160.
You would expect the drivers that went the furthest this time, so Strauss and Silvazzi at 102, they'll probably go the deepest into that run. And the drivers that pit early, like Wagner and Ench, will pit on the earlier side of that run.
So Wags is 14 laps already into his current stint, so he might have to do a fuel save on that on his last stint. We'll see. So things are coming up all gold so far for the gold car. Carl Stout making his return back to the series after a week off of forced vacation from the stewards. He's up 4 spots right now and has led pretty much the bulk of this race to this point. He is your leader. His rival from that Nashville race is right behind him. 1.9 seconds. Actually, Stout, after that round of pit stops, has lengthened his lead. It was about 1.6, 1.7. Now it's 2 seconds. Wagner is second.
2 seconds.
Go ahead.
2 seconds over a driver on much older tires.
Yes.
And so Altena will have to battle with Wagner to get back to where he was previously. I foresee Stout's lead only getting larger and larger as this run goes on.
Now this might be playing into Stout's hands.
And Nunez, who is right on the gearbox of Murphy coming out of pit road, is about a second and a half behind him in fifth. So either he's being deliberately smooth on his tires, or Murphy just caught the draft right of Altena, Wagner, and Christensen in front. It's kind of towed him along and he locked Nunez out following the win.
Well, you know, it's quite possible, again, that he's just repeating what he did on the last stint, where he just kind of took it easy in the first portion of the stint, and then he really put it down in the second half of the stint where everyone else was kind of racing and using up their tires. Maybe he saw the recipe that works and is going to try to repeat that in the kitchen one more time, but he's in fifth. Murph and Altena, I think, are going to start racing. There's some caution on the racetrack. Bart and the Dixon car coming off of 2.
Nosed into the inside wall after getting loose on the corner exit, just like we saw Caustic Silhouette do earlier. I think it's all nose damage for Bart. He should be able to get that fixed. So I think this really benefits Matt Wagner, like hugely. He went from running 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th after he had that wing damage. He jumped back up to 6th up to 2nd with that giant undercut. And now he'll get to reset his tires and be on even footing with everyone else. The question becomes, does anyone who stayed out super late decide not to pit here with just 10-lap-old tires? It worked for Altena last time, but it looks like he's coming to pit road.
Oh, and Wags dives in at the last second. Got to be really careful here on the pit access road. You don't want to pass, otherwise you'll get a black flag. This is one of those places that you can easily pick that up on the pit access road, just like Gateway. The Wags coming in, Julian coming in, and I think that's it.
I really like the idea of pitting here. I don't like being the only 2 cars to pit. These guys are going to have to be very, very patient on this last run of the race. Basically, use this tire advantage. Don't run anyone over. Keep your car in one piece. Wagner's hand was forced. Just his other tires were going to be so old on that restart, he was going to be in big trouble. Dan Ench stayed on the racetrack, and he last pit on lap 87. So I would not be surprised to see him come in this time by in the ALZ.org machine.
One seems to be staying out. Tim coming in.
Tim Van Gastel, yep.
Everybody in the top 14 on the lead lap right now. Thanks for joining us. Well, the weather in my neck of the woods is pretty decent today. I hope the weather in your neck of the woods is. Thanks for joining us on hopefully your day is beautiful on this Saturday afternoon. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Julian certainly would appreciate that. The penultimate round of the IndyCar Championship coming to you from Homestead Miami Speedway. Lap 113 coming to lap 114. We will go green. Your leader is Carl Stout. Next week we will decide, formally decide the championship. Informally, the championship will be decided at the end of this race, with Luis Nunez more than likely clinching at the end of this race. He's currently in 3rd, but still other positions in the championship to be decided next week. So that is 3 p.m. Eastern Time next Saturday, right here on the Velocity Online Racing channel. We'll also wrap up the Iconic Series next week as well. All done at Chicagoland. Iconic Series has a championship coming down to the final race, deciding with the margin of only 12 points. Carl Stout, very slow restart.
Stout's been doing the Newgarden strat here today. Second time he's gone pretty slow.
Oh, Nunez taking a peek to the inside of Murph, and Murph was not giving him any inches whatsoever. Slams the door. Stout going to the bottom, trying to break the draft. I think Murph wisely just held his line. Oh, look at Forsythe getting a big run on the high side.
Murphy loves to see it. He gets to feed Nunez, his competitor, dirty air, and then have somebody he loves racing with Forsyth right behind him. This time he leads Dirty Air to Forsyth. Murph's taking no prisoners. Three cars now. That's Strauss going to the inside of Nunez. And 3 wide in turn 3. Look out, Hugo Galez gets in the back of Dan Ench.
Dan Inch has a meatball flag as a result of that. So he's coming to pit road.
He got his rears knocked out of alignment. Tim Van Gastel's come in for an additional round of service as well.
He got a black flag coming to pit road, I think. At Wagner, purple lap.
What I was saying about Murphy, this is the first time he has only had one team car from Altena Autosports in front of him. Will probably afford him the ability to find clean air and shape up Carroll Stout here in this sprint to the last stop. Here comes Pim Van Gastel out of the pit lane right in front of our leaders.
He's going to try to stay high. Yep.
Out.
Goes to the bottom of the racetrack now. Lifts the accelerator just a little bit to allow everyone on by.
A legendary move. Didn't want to cause any drama or any fuss with the lead cars here.
Good job. Strauss now attacking Nunez. Wagner firmly back in the battle. Getting a purple lap again in this race. Currently 8th, running down Salvazzi, moves up to 7th.
Salvazzi's going to have Tessera cleared here. Wagner saying, gosh, guys, couldn't you race side-by-side hard for one more lap? I wanted to get another 2 for 1.
Oh, and he has a slam the door on Bennyworth, and he did it quickly.
You ever slammed a door slowly, Gary? I haven't.
Nope. Well, I guess if you have like a safe or maybe a sliding glass door, those would be those would slam shut just by the nature of what they are. But a swinging door. Here's Julian inside of Bennyworth. And Julian's going to get a little aid from the draft, this time from Wagner down the backstretch, so he will be able to hold his position on Bennyworth and get the position into 3 and 4. Wagner does the same thing, as Wagner's now 7th. Nunez and Strauss
picked up the pace.
Yeah, Strauss on the high side, and he clears Nunez. Nunez now back to 5th. Strauss in 4th. Wagner and Salvazzi side by side. Boy, the whole, all up and down the top 10 right now, pretty active.
Yeah, everything but our front 5, basically. They're all single file riding the bottom.
Julian now attacking.
Wagner's probably very pleased to be past for Salvazzi. Salvazzi and he were running similar lines, and he's got to get the most out of these tires here. And honestly, I think it's a net game for Wagner, really. Imagine starting this restart with tires that were 10 laps older than everyone instead of 10 laps fresher. He'd probably be worse than 6th right now already.
Those are all for position behind Wagner. The Salvazzi, there's Tessera taking a peek out, going on the low side. Just can't quite get the car to rotate down there with speed. Not again, Julian behind them. Julian in 9th, Pennyworth in 10th.
Now Salvazzi's transitioned to the high side to keep Tessera behind him. And Altena's the interested party with the pressure tires behind him. Julian doesn't seem to be pushing nearly as hard as Matt Wagner was, so I have a feeling that Julian might be looking to overcut this last stop, whereas Wagner's looking to undercut it.
Tessera to the inside. Now Salvazzi again down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Oh, Tessera just slides up and inches away. He had to do a big lift. Julian goes to the bottom. He might get this position. In fact, I think he does. He is clear. He's going to slam the door. And Tessera with the big lift to keep it off. Salvazzi costs him a position.
That's what a little pinch does. A little pinch creates a little lift, and a little lift creates a lot of track position loss.
Momentum is a big.
Salvazzi.
Momentum is a big thing with these cars, and if you lift just a little bit with the downforce they create, even in this super speedway package, it is just like hitting an air brake. Ooh. Julian trying to side draft a little bit,
about
maybe.
As close as you can get. Yep. No, I think that was Salvazzi. Julian's clear up. Salvazzi might fight back on the inside here. No, he lifts and stays in line. Nunez and Wagner started at opposite ends of the field today, and they're running nose to tail in 5th and 6th on slightly different strategies right now. A bit of a tortoise in the hare situation, I bet. I bet Nunez is also saving his tires like he did earlier in the day, whereas Wagner's lighting them up, burning them down, trying to get back to where he was previous to that last yellow.
Riding with Wagner in his new livery. Let's see how he attacks these corners. That's a full send in the one right there.
Yeah, I think he sees that Nunez and Strauss have both been really committed to the bottom, and he's just trying to get by them, so he's going to go where they aren't.
Big lift in 3 and 4. .188 in the middle of the corner, 179. And 181, middle of the corner there. Fastest down the front straight. He gets here. 215 into the corner. Whoa,
oh,
big
Wagner's
loose.
Out of control.
Big loose.
Ooh, buddy.
You heard it, you saw it right there.
What a save.
Now he has to reset his tools a little bit. And that might be more than just a weight jacker change. That might be a roll bar change at this point.
I think it's a right foot change. Take the lead out of your foot, Wag.
Now, visually, each end of the racetrack looks identical, but they handle entirely different.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the way the sun bakes each end of the speedway differently. And when the shadows appear. Also where the tunnel to the track is, and just kind of the general nature. Like, it's not a D-shaped oval, right? It does look symmetrical, but it doesn't feel that way. Turn 4 feels like you lose all the grip in the world and you get really, really tight. Turn 2 feels like you get really, really loose. I don't understand the geometry as to why that happens. Maybe someone smarter than me can explain it, but I just can tell you what I feel behind the wheel. Strauss has also been snapping loose the last couple of laps right in front of Nunez out of turn 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 for me was, especially if you have too much weight jacker off the corner, it's very loose, especially if you're very low on the racetrack. You need to kind of float the car out towards the wall for kind of the optimal feel. And then 4, for whatever reason, I mean, this place is a pretty wide place, but you turn into 3 and 4, and you make your exit out of 4, it's just like you see me like you run out of room really quickly out of 4.
Yeah, when you have nearly 4.5 lanes of room, running out of all of it. Where'd it go? It was all right here.
Yeah, why want to take it away? Here's Tessera and Salvazzi. This is for 8 as Tessera bangs it up against the wall in 3 and 4.
Bank shot. Carried your momentum through the corner, used it as a little break. You got lucky the wall didn't grab him, it just spat him right back out.
We are 43 laps into the stint for many of these drivers. Stout is 44 laps in, Murph 43, Forsyth 43, Strauss 41, Nunez 43. Then we got Wagner at 32 and Julian at 32, so we'll continue to watch them. But the next round of pit stops are not that far off for just about everybody. With the exception of Julian and Wagner in 6th and 7th. We expect these guys, the leaders who pitted all on lap 100, 101, 102, 103, right in there, which is pretty much everybody in the top 5. We expect them to come to pit road sometime in the next 5 laps. I think the window opens at 150.
I mean, it is open now if anyone wants to do an extreme undercut and save a touch of fuel. And with the pace fall off, that save won't be burdensome. But Nunez has definitely hit the crossover point where his saving strategy has allowed him to really put the pressure on Strauss here for 4th.
I think Murph is reeling in Stout a little bit too.
Wagner has signaled he's pitting in. He's doing the undercut again.
So he's going to have to do a little bit of a save on this stint.
Just a tiny save. Like, really, really nothing at all. As long as you're diligent about backing up your corners and lifting into the corners instead of, like, ripping full throttle on the high line every time, you can make this number pretty easily. Yeah, Murphy, another 1/10 of a second on Stout that lap. Stout looks like he's really struggling on exit, pushing up out to the wall. Murphy's much more controlled, able to wrap the bottom.
Now, both of these guys, very experienced racers. One, a real racer. Carl Stout does a lot of real racing himself. The other, a sim racer. And I think what you see here now developing is a lot of starts in the sim on ovals is coming to the forefront. over someone that is primarily still learning on ovals, admittedly, but more of a road course guy, and that's Carl Stout. But Murph, we know he's a former series champion here. He's won the oval series, as we saw Nunez get around Strauss. So Murph is a bit of an oval specialist, and he is putting that advantage, putting that knowledge to his advantage right now, as he's now within 3/10 of our leader.
It's definitely a battle of youth versus experience. The age gap between these two drivers is about my age. So Murphy's been doing this longer than Carroll's been alive. So we'll see if he can use all the reps he has, put his IAR car in front of the AA car leading the way.
Been a long day for Murph. Did some racing earlier today. Might be doing some racing later today. Part of the iRacing Road America Endurance Weekend.
Oh, Stout missed the bottom there, and Murphy
he
wrapped
did.
it. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway.
I didn't see the need for Stout. Okay, that's why I saw Stout go to the bottom. Then he's coming to pit road. He's decided, I'm coming to pit road. I thought the crossover was trying to block the run, but I didn't think there was much of a run there to block. But he was making the position change to get to pit road. So here he comes to pit road, gives the lead over to Mark. So final stop for our leader at lap 152. Also coming to pit road, Craig Forsyth.
Beating Frezzi on pit road. Everyone's coming in. Not everyone, but a majority of the leaders. What's going to be interesting to keep an eye on is if Matt Wagner comes out ahead of Carroll Stout. Wagner's exiting turn 4 right now, and Stout has just left his box. Going to be very close. Stout leaving the access road, and Wagner is coming off of turn 2. They'll be in direct contact with one another, but the edge will go to Stout. And with these fresher tires, Wagner is going to have a very hard time catching and passing him. His undercut may net him second here, though, for the time being. Murphy on pit road. Nunez now the leader.
Nunez the leader. Altena in second. Tessera now third. Christensen up to fourth. Still awaiting his final stop here as well. He still has a couple more laps to go, although he's making the dive down now, so he wants to get this done sooner rather than later. Murph coming off of pit road.
Just like I said, Altena's going later. He's doing that overcut, whereas Wagner did the undercut. We'll see who wins, the tortoise or the hare, between those two who started on the same strategy.
Yeah, Wags jumps Murph as well.
Murphy was a little conservative coming to pit road. That's the difference between him and Stout right now. Murphy's going to look to make quick work here of Wagner while he's got the cold, fresh tires.
So Nunez stays out, leads a lap, gets a little extra bonus point for those. Julian going to stay out. He'll pick up the lead. He'll lead a lap. He'll get a bonus point for that.
There goes Murphy by Wagner. Forsyth now in tow.
150 of 200. We're in the middle of final stops occurring. Julian now 45 laps into his stint. Nunez 55 laps into his stint. Coming to pit road, he's down and away. This is his final stop. Or he becomes
now has the
champion. Go ahead.
Altena has the entire field one lap down. If a yellow were to come out now, he would get a free stop and retain the lead. Forsyth now dogging Wagner, looking to the outside of 3 and 4. Dials up the white line in 1 and 2, and Forsyth will put himself in position to run third at the end of the race. Not quite clear up on Wagner. He's going to fight back on the outside.
I think Wags just kind of lifted a little bit, let him go. Discretion and valor playing a major part of decision-making here.
I think Wagner hit the go button when he was on fresh new tires, but knows he has to save these to make it to the end without falling off the cliff. So I don't think he's going to fight too hard to keep the track position.
Julian, we expect on pit road about any time now.
Yeah, Stout's nearly within striking distance to unlap himself, so Julian's bleeding time here with his overcut. And he'll have a lot of cars to pass, but hopefully much fresher tires.
Yeah, L10 is 1.4 up the road from Stout now, 1.3 now.
I think Julian may just try to run this overcut as long as possible until Murphy unlaps himself, at which point he would no longer be the leader if he pits or have a team car in the lead. Basically, trying to fish out a free stop. I don't think he minds losing the extra track position. I think this is an all-or-nothing play here for him.
Remember, Julian won yesterday's race on fuel strategy. The Iconic Series had a slightly different strategy than Edson Santos, who finished second yesterday. And Julian came out of pit road just ahead of Edson and held him off for that final stint, getting the win.
I think on the previous stint, Julian had actually muscled by Edson on the outside after they had used up a different amount of tires on that penultimate run. So.
Nunez, Strauss, this is a battle for 6th and 7th.
Nunez is on the fresher tires, dials up the bottom, and blasts on by. That's a 5-lap difference in tires, and Julian signaled he's in this time. On cleanly, no black flags for speeding. We'll see what Alpena will cycle out. He was running, I believe, 7th before the cycle started. I would be surprised if he comes out higher than 10th, really. He gave up a ton of extra time on those tires, but he's going to be much faster here towards the end of the race.
166 at 200, so final stop of the race is occurring right now. Julian losing the lead. Carl Stout back to the top. Carl has pretty much dominated this day. But 104 laps to this point. Murph in second. Now Murph, can he put that oval knowledge back to use here and run down Carl in these remaining laps of the race?
Julian came out in 7th, about 7.3 seconds behind Stout. I think it is possible and likely that Julian will be able to recover at least and catch Matt Wagner, so we'll see the turtle in the hare scenario play out exactly like I had predicted. They should be pretty close to one another by the time this race wraps up.
This is round 9 of 10 of the championship. One more round to go to firm up the remainder of the standings for the Drivers' Cup, the Drivers' Championship. After this race, more than likely, this man right here, Luis Nunez, will be your series champion, your season 13 champion. It doesn't look likely that he's going to get his 5th win of the season. Sitting on 4 so far this season. I don't think he's going to get his 5th. We might be looking, with 31 to go, Carl Stout, we might be looking at another first-time winner end the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship with Carl Stout needing to only make 31 more circuits, and he will sew that up.
Anna is really cooking. He is going so much faster than the cars in front of him. He will definitely catch Wagner and Nunez. I don't think it's in play for him to catch Forsyth, however.
Real quick review of the all-time winners here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. There have been 38 different drivers get a win. 39 if he can get that victory today, Carl Stout. So 28 to go. We'll go back and take a peek at Julian. As you mentioned, he is on a flyer right now at the moment on the high side around Wags, and he should clear him and get that done, and he does. You mentioned it. He is now up to 5th, and now he's going to go after Luis Nunez and try to make that battle for the championship just a little bit closer, even though it's pretty much been decided.
Hey, man, second place, having it all to yourself and know that your teammate can't catch you, every spot you get today makes that easier and easier.
Murph gets around Stout. Stout, into the
Stout
wall.
is damaged.
We gotta go back and take a look at this.
Gary.
I did. I totally did.
You got loose. You got loose on turn 2, just like we've seen other drivers do all day. And that's youth first experience. Murphy knows. Just gotta hold the steering wheel straight. Be nice and gentle.
And then
Stout was pushing when he didn't need to.
really didn't know where to go, so he committed to the bottom. But all that while, Stout was wanting to come to the bottom, to come to pit road. There almost was an incident there, but Murphy, now your leader with 25 to go, and he has himself a 2-second lead over Forsyth.
I don't think he needs to be worried about Forsyth. He needs to be worried about Julian Altena. He's another 1.5 seconds behind Forsyth, but he's diving to the inside of Nunez right now to put himself in sole position of 3rd place.
Well, commentator curse, indeed. I apologize. I thought he had this thing, but, you still had to make, another 30 more laps, and we're 24 to go now after that. Murphy has 5 wins in the championship. No wins this season. He's in a 3-way tie with his teammate Will Lyon and Luis Nunez. So if he gets win number 6, he will tie himself with Craig Forsyth, who currently is in 2nd.
Funny how the cream always seems to rise to the top.
And that would be 6th all time if he can get the win today. So we just watched Julian get around Luis Nunez. 23 to go. Now Julian, can he run down Forsyth? We should probably show you the gaps again. There's still a lot of time left. Murphy 2.4, 2.5 now over Forsyth for the lead.
Oh, Julian's going to have Craig here in 3 and 4. No contest.
And Julian's tires are half as old as Craig's. Craig's 26 lap old tires, actually now 27, Julian 14.
All right, so it's 2.5 seconds to almost 2.6, 2.7 seconds that Julian's got to make up here in 20 laps. So that's about 1/10 a lap. Just pace yourself, nice and easy. You'll get there.
He is there. He's going to commit to the high side. Craig decides to stay low. Julian's going to get a little bit of a draft assist down the front stretch. Julian's now going to go to the inside. Craig just holds his line, accepts his fate, going to third. .2 to the lead now. Altena up the Murphy. 19 to go. And there is one car in between Murph and Julian that Julian will have to get around. That is Pim, but I think Pim has been doing a good job of just kind of ducking and diving and staying out of everyone's way right now. He's down on pace just a little bit. He's in 12th spot, 3 laps down. It's 2 laps down on the tree, actually. That's on the gap. Sorry. Here's the end. There you go.
Julian took out more than 2/10 that last time by. He's on pace.
1.8.
Murphy's best friend might be Pim Van Gastel here. Just that extra buffer of dirty air, and Pim is running the preferred bottom line. When Julian gets close, it's going to have to force him to go to the top or face the dirty air, both of which are bad for wear. It might be just enough to let Murphy sneak this one past him.
$15 to go. There's not a lot of time. Yeah. 15 to go, but Murphy now, if he's watching his relatives, got to be seeing this happening behind him. Got to be thinking, come on, 15 laps seems like an eternity now at this point.
And for Julian, it seems like it's not enough time. So one of them thinks it's too long, one of them thinks it's too short.
Too long, then not enough. Put yourself in Murph's shoes. Clendy, what are you thinking and what are you doing? Just, keeping focus forward, keeping your focus downrange, hitting your marks, and just, doing everything you can?
Yeah, you just got to stay calm, cool, collected. I think, you have a lapper between you and Julian. You can see Julian now running the top in your mirror. You know that that's a good sign for you. The gap has not shrunk as much this lap as the previous laps. As he gets closer to you and Pim, the harder it will get because it will be more and more air and more laps on his tires. Murphy's just got to stay nice and smooth here, not overwork the tools, not overheat his tires. He's got clean air and only 13 to go.
Gallas and Christensen are battling for position. This is for the final spot in the top 10. Gallas right now moving up into the top 10.
They're not too far ahead of our leader.
No, they're not. They're 3 seconds in front of our leader.
Oh, Pim pulls over. So now there's direct contact between Altena and Murphy.
Yeah, Pim just sees it all coming, just ducks out of the way.
Now Murphy's got to be hoping he doesn't catch those Altena cars that are running at the tail end of the lead lap here before the end of the race.
How convenient is that for Julian to have 2 team cars at the tail end of the field, although they are battling for a position. They're both on the lead lap.
Nice to have friends.
Yeah. I always say.
We're not doing anything wrong.
No, I always say strength in numbers.
They seem to have sorted out their running position. I think their lap times should improve here.
Hugo into the wall.
More of that. Maybe Murphy will catch them. We'll see. Altena has it now down to 1.1 seconds. And this is when the mind games start playing. Does Murphy give up the bottom and start to block Altena where he's running up top? Can Altena sniff that out and hunt the bottom when Murphy commits to a line that's not optimal? If that happens once or twice, Altena's got a real shot. If Murphy plays his cards right, I don't think Julian can catch him.
2.1 to the cars in front of him before he starts to feel the impact. About a half second of that 2 seconds that they have a gap in front of them. They come back within 1.5 ahead of Murphy. He will start to get impact from their dirty air. Julian now right at 1 second, 8 to go, now 7 to go as Murph goes into turn 1. Here's the view from behind. There is the blue car getting bigger in your picture. Murphy, 40-lap-old tires. Julian, 28-lap-old tires. It was a gamble for Julian to stay out as long as he did. He gave up a ton of track position, but he knew that he was probably going to get it back with pace. And we're going to have a battle on our hands. We're going to have a battle on our hands here in the final closing stages of this race. Murph coming now to 5 to go, and Julian is there, and he's getting the draft assist now down the straights.
And Murphy is staying committed and dedicated to the bottom, which allows Altena to have clean air in the corners, but he is running the longer, harder on your tires line, which is the outside.
And he is now getting the dirty air from Christensen.
Murphy's trying to key up, but I don't hear anything.
He's not on the bottom this time as Christensen's on the bottom in front of him, so he takes the middle. Coming to 3 to go.
Murphy puts himself in a position to take Julian's line. Mirror drove him a little there on entry. Christensen is going to pit this time by to give Murphy clean track.
Julian's going to get a big run down the backstretch. He's going to get even closer. Christensen leaves the racetrack. Now it's, I think Hugo Gallis also did the same. So now clear racetrack to decide it. Coming to 2 to go, and Julian's going to be there.
I think it might be too little too late for the Flying Dutchman. You got Mr. Old and Slow up front, but Julian sends it into turn 1, ripping the fence.
A lap and
Down
a half
to
to go.
3/10 of a second.
3/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second now is the gap. Julian going to get a big run on the high side. Coming off of 4, coming to the white flag. Last lap here at Homestead Miami. Your leader, Mark Murphy, Julian Altena, first and second into turn 1.
Serious case of tortoise in the hare here. The overcut versus splitting the race into quarters. It's going to come down to the final turn. Whose tires will last? Will it be Altena or Murphy?
The man's been poking for a win for so long, and he's come home bridesmaid many times here recently since getting his championship in the Velocity Online Racing Series, and he gets the win here, breaking the long dry spell at Homestead. Your winner, Mark Murphy, Julian Altena second, and Craig Forsyth brings it home on the bottom step for yet another podium for the Canadian.
Experience reigns supreme. The top 3 finishers today probably have more starts in this league than any other drivers in the field today.
Luis Nunez finishes 4th, and that should be enough for his championship sealing race. The old lead pipe cinch going into the final race of the season.
Craig admiring the pink on the front stretch, just like you had yesterday, Gary. Hopefully when he gets in the commentary booth, we can ask him about it. See if we can get a pink Forsyth car on the track anytime next season.
Maybe in October. Always a good month for pink. All right. There we go. And Mark Murphy with the win. This is his 6th career win here in Velocity Online Racing, and he has now tied Craig Forsyth. The career wins leader is still Jesper. Then it's Alex Van de Sant. There's a tie for 3rd between Bruno and Julian. 4th is Isaac Morris, name we haven't talked about very much recently. Josh Tucker at 8th. So Forsyth, 7th all time. He is now tied with Forsyth, 7th all time, and career wins here in the league. Altina 2nd, Forsyth 3rd, Nunez 4th, Wagner 5th, Strauss 6th, Salvazzi 7th, Pennyworth 8th, Tessera 9th, Hugo Gallas in 10th. Christensen 11th, Pim Van Gassel in 12th, Dan Inch 13th, Carl Stout 14th, Barton 15th, Lovern 16th, and Kostik Solwedge in 17th. Everybody from 14 on back had one moment or another. Carl Stout unfortunately dominated this day, but coming to the closing stages, smacks the wall off a 2, ending his day. This is going to be one of those days he'll want that back, but I think it's just a matter of time, Clindy, that before Carl gets his first win here in the series.
Yeah, just like with anything you cook well, you gotta take it low and slow, right? I think Carl's just trying to go a little too fast, a little too high today. A little bit more experience, a little bit more seasoning on that steering wheel, and he'll come back tasting better than ever. We've got our whole podium in the waiting room whenever you are ready, Garrett.
Stand by. All right. Of course, I get in the middle of my face. Here we go. We'll bring up Craig Forsyth, finishing on the bottom step. There he is. Bottom step today for Craig, P3. Congratulations. A very quiet race for you, but a very consistent race for you. You've finished right where you started. Didn't gain nothing, but then again, didn't lose nothing.
Anytime I'm coming home on a podium at Homestead is a victory for me. This is not my track. I cannot keep tires alive at this track. And we started off with such a hot track. It was hotter than the practice sessions. So I knew I was in trouble. We got a couple green flags. Switched to when we had I think the second caution. That's when I knew a fuel save was in the cards. So I switched to full hard fuel save mode, and even fuel saving and in my head not driving the car very hard. At the end of that stint, I think I lost like 4 positions in like 5 seconds worth of time. It was I am not good at saving tires at this track. So yeah, no, and then the caution came out and threw that out the window. So at that point it was like, all right, now it's time to go. When are we going to go in? Figure out, try and make positions. And yeah, I did not expect to get away after the caution where I'd fallen back, and I think I restarted in like 6th or 7th. I didn't think we were going to get backed up to 3rd. So I'm more than happy with that. That's for sure. And yeah, it was, man, you can't, it's so hard to fall. Clean air so rules this track, and the guys that can save their tires and make me look like an amateur in those last 20 laps of a stint are just kudos to them, because I've got had nothing for those guys. It was not me trying to save. It was not me trying to come up with. It's like, no, I just had no tires left whatsoever. So yeah, good on all those guys, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy getting a podium. That's for sure.
Clinton, go ahead.
Yeah, we heard you admiring the new model on the racetrack. The makeup it's got, the pink down on the the front stretch. Any chance
I
we
am
can
a
have
fan. It is one of my favorite colors. So by all means, I will rock a pink grandstand and a pink start finish line. That's the unusual color choices. I assume it's related related to whatever that health sign is on the turn 2. But yeah, nope. I like the color.
Well, any chance we see a hot pink Forsyth Racing automobile next season?
Give me enough time and interest in doing it. Sure.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you in hot pink in the days to come, perhaps. But today you got the bronze medal. You can shout out any friends, family, sponsors, or anyone you'd like. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I got to thank 4D Racewear, sponsor for the team. Jim, owner of the thing. Get yourself some gloves, get yourself some shoes. Good guy, sponsors loves IndyCar, loves sponsoring IndyCar. So he's a good sponsor for iRacing and IndyCar here. And you guys doing the P1 broadcast, love you guys. And yeah, no, it was good, clean racing today. So I enjoyed it. I haven't even seen what the cautions were yet. So that tells me I wasn't anywhere near them, which I'm always happy with. So good out to the guys for the racing today.
Well, it's an absolute joy to see you do your race breakdowns and your caution review incidents on your live stream if you're streaming right now. So I encourage everyone watching to go check out Forsyth Gaming on YouTube after this. And Craig, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.
Congrats. We'll see you in the next one. Okay. Little bit of I don't know the details, and I probably won't get into it here very much, but a little bit of drama has occurred. So we'll still going to interview Mark, but we'll have to interview Mark probably over on the on the P1 Discord. We will bring up Julian here, who finished second, and then we'll move over to the P1 Discord so we can talk with Mark. Here is Julian. Julian, congratulations, P2, man. That decision you did on that lap for your last pit stop to go as long as possible, even though that you were kind of you were hemorrhaging speed for the sake of having fresher tires than everyone else at the end, and that really paid off. Nice gamble, good call on the pit stop at the end, and that's ultimately kind of what brought you home the second. But talk about your race, though. But the pit strategy then at the very end really kind of is what powered your car to the finish here, kind of.
Yeah, I have to say I'm full of adrenaline right now. Hopefully I don't stumble over my words too much. But yeah, the race overall was really good, really clean and everything. That strategy call at the end there was the plan from the start of the restart, basically the second half of the race. It was always going to be my plan because I pitted with Wags and then I wanted to stay out as long as possible and try and do an iconic series on everyone here. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. I have to be really complimentary of Mark's driving today. He did a great job today managing the race overall when he got the lead from Carol when he made his mistake. So yeah, overall he drove a great race and we just couldn't catch the old guy, but just a fantastic job on his end. I do have to say though, I have to publicly admit that I said something I absolutely shouldn't have. It was pretty unacceptable. But when it came to the waiting room, Mark was throwing accusations of favoritism, which have been going on for months now. He said he would want to go public with it. There's nothing to go public with because transparency is everything I stand for. So if anybody has any questions, please come to me or Mark if you want to get his side of the story. But that's the reason you won't be hearing from him the interview today. This has been going on for months. It's a shame because he wins the race and he throws a fit like that. It's just disappointing, really. Mark and I have been friends for a long time, but it's just gotten too far now. So it's really unfortunate. But congrats to him anyway on a great and well-deserved win. And we'll go again next week for the final race.
Go ahead, Clinty.
Yeah, P2 today, a solid P2 in the championship, and obviously, you've got a ways to go with what it comes to catching Luis Nunez. I mean, he's put on absolute clinic this this season, but you beat him handily today, and your competitors on the track, no one else seemed to emulate your strategy, and you beat him with your brain today and a little bit of your foot. What can you say to aspiring sim racers at home who might want to emulate your strategy in the future? How can you save tires like as well as I do or as well as you do?
As well as you do, you mean? You're the goat.
Yeah, I
I
mean, you
listen to
learned
you
from
all
me,
the
so I'm saying
time.
as well as I do, as well as you do. You did
Absolutely,
really well
yeah.
today.
That's what I'm saying. I'm learning a lot of things from you just from watching and observing. You know, I said this yesterday, I believe as well. Just following in somebody's wheel tracks who's better than you really improves you a lot. So, just want to say, be patient. Take care of your tires as best you can. I know I'm nowhere near as a master of guys like Jesper and some of the power slide guys are with that skill. But you know, it's been a point of improvement for the last year and a half or so now, and I'm actually getting somewhere, not as quickly as I would like, but like I say, patience and taking care of your stuff goes a long way. And if you're on the track with you, Clendy, then that experience and knowledge will come by itself. So yeah, that's about it, really.
Well, you did finish second, so you get all of the shout outs you'd like to do. The spotlight and the microphone are both yours.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Alex from IFS Personal Financial Planning and Gary Lovern from Lovers Incorporated for sponsoring the series throughout the season. Hopefully, we can gain some more traction and support with them on board next season as well, with Gary at least. Hope Alex is doing well as well, by the way, enjoying a vacation, I would assume. But I heard he's going to the Nürburgring with his Porsche pretty soon here in a couple of weeks. So hopefully he's going to have fun there. But yeah, you guys for broadcasting as always. I'm sure the broadcast turned out great as always. Everybody who came out, just a smaller field today than what we've seen in the races past, but that's pretty much annual at this point with the month of May coming up and springtime all coming together and the holidays with Easter and all that stuff. So lower attendance. Hopefully next week will be better, but honestly, I'm honestly hoping just for 20 cars and then I'll be happy with it. So we don't have to shorten the race, but yeah, just everybody involved today. My girlfriend downstairs as well. Just a pretty good race overall. So pretty satisfied with everything.
Well, congratulations on the P2. A very, I would say, a pretty good weekend for you. Getting the win yesterday, P2 today. So all things considered, I know you felt at some points that the monkey was on your back, and you know, kind of the fun of it's been sucked out for you. But I would imagine this probably helped a little bit to do so well in 2 races in 2 days this weekend. So congrats on that, and we'll catch you at the season ender next week. But go update points.
Oh yeah, I will do that right now for you. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for everything so far, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks,
Much
Julian.
appreciated.
Thanks, Julian.
Yeah, see ya. Take care.
All right, so what we're gonna do here, as I'm gonna, Clinty, if you want to follow me, we're gonna pop on over to the P1 Discord, and we're gonna pop into who's all in there right now. All right, hold on. I'm going to move them out in the waiting for interview. All right, here we go. I wasn't sure who was in here. I just moved them out just so it was just the 3 of us. Murph. Okay. Drama aside, which we could get into and give you your chance on the story. But the thing for you is just kind of kept the car clean and green the whole way, and then we were really starting to kind of give the flowers, and it was really a clear commentator's curse. We were starting to give the flowers to Carl because he's really dominated the day. And the next thing we know, as I look up and I see you passing him, and I'm like, what's going on? And then we see him smack it off the wall off of 2. Maybe causing a little bit of angst for you as he's going to the bottom of the racetrack. You chose the bottom of the racetrack to kind of use that area to avoid him. Managed to make things work there, but you picked up the lead, and you're going to finish pretty much close out the final 30 laps of this race as the leader. So let's start there. I mean, it kind of fell into your lap, but you really kind of had your car in a position all day, just kind of floating in the top 5, just hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, that baby was a rocket. We had a little bit of issues early with some pretty devious driving And then, you know, it felt like Wags and I were going to make a break for it, and he got his front wing chopped off. So, you know, I put him in the back, and he had to kind of go off strategy to get back up there. But this track is so awesome. It's a big Iowa, man. It's the temptation is so there to, you know, to run the high line, run the middle groove, and you can do it for a lap or two, but it really hurts the tires. The temperature variation here was pretty wild too. When I think it was 126 at the start, and we ended at 98 degrees. So, but it was pretty big, pretty big temperature variation. And at the end, you know, I could tell that Julian and Carol both, because I spent time behind them both in the race. I spent time behind them both in the race, and I think. You know, I could tell at the end of the runs that they were getting pretty free coming off the corner. you just showed me wiggle coming off too, but you could tell they were getting pretty free coming off the corner, and I hadn't really run hard until that last stint, and you know, I finally just dialed the weight jacker back just a hair, and really just started running hard all the way through the corner, not really caring about saving tires. And I could tell I was reeling him in, and the closer I got, the harder he drove, and the harder he drove, the looser he got coming off of the corners, and he finally looked like he had too much dialed into it, cooked the right rear, and car snapped around and but it whip snappered the turn two wall, and I hate it for him. I mean, he drove a beautiful race aside for some questionable stuff early, but hey, I mean, you know, it's easy to pass somebody when they're off the gas headed to pit lane with damage. So, and kudos to Julian. I mean, he drove a heck of a race. He had the tires at the end, and I kept waiting. I kept looking at the thing. I'm like, okay, I'm 2.5 seconds. Well, now I'm 2. When are these going to equalize? Here he comes. Now he's a second. And finally, I think they equalized enough at the end. He was going to be able to get to me, but I don't think he would have been able to pass me. And I really started to defend. You know, we brought the thing home.
Before I hand it over to Clindy, so I'm assuming the moment you're talking about Carl, that probably, and I even talked about it during the broadcast, because I think it was a run down the front stretch in the one, and Carl kind of did a move very late before getting the one to kind of block you a little bit. Is that the move that you're talking about?
There were a couple. There was one on like 6 or 7. It was like somewhere between 6 and 8 where, you know, I clearly had the run, and he shot down in front of my nose. I had to get out of the power. And then that one I had to go all the way down the pit wall, and we barely didn't crash. And, you know, I just, you know, there was another run later where Matt went to pass him, and he shot across Matt's nose and broke his wing. It was just, it wasn't a good look. You know, and it's something I've been kind of talking with Julian about for a while is, you know, it's, like I got penalized for reckless driving at Portland for losing. I wasn't being reckless, man. I lost it on a bumpy brake zone and wheel hopped the thing and slid into somebody. It definitely wasn't reckless. It wasn't on purpose. You know, and it seems like, you know, Luis has had it happen to him where, you know, the book gets thrown at people, but there are others that, you know, they like, you know, I mean, we had an incident where we had a guy hitting people under caution, you know what I mean? And it just, that kind of stuff gets let go depending on who you are. And I was disappointed that happened. I'm happy to win the race. I'm elated that, you know, I'm happy that we finally cashed one in. It was a heck of a fight. But I just wish it could be clean and the rules applied fairly to everybody rather than have certain people, you know, like the thing with Matt. I mean, that was pretty clear cut. You know, it's stuff that you send in an official protest, and the iRacing stewards are going to have something to say about it, and it's just unfortunate that it got to this point. I thought Julian raced me fair. I thought you know, I thought John and Hugo did a great thing pulling over. It just kind of stunk. They pulled over and they pulled down pit lane, and then they came out right in front of us again. But they did the right thing, you know what I mean? They got out of the way and let us race. But I was just really disappointed in the way that some of the people raced today. And you know, we'll see if that carries over to Fontana for 500 miles, or we'll see if we'll even see if I'm allowed to be there. I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, it's obvious Julian and I are friends, and we need to sit down and talk. And now is probably not the best time to do it. And on the P1 and Velocity Online Racing streams isn't the right place to do it. So, but that's my take on it.
And I stand corrected. I kept saying that next week was Chicagoland for the IR18s. It is
No,
Fontana.
it's all man, and I love that.
It
joint.
is Chicago. It is not Chicagoland. It is Fontana, and it's going to be a 500-mile race. So we still have a lot of racing to do, even though the championship is decided at least in the top spot. Clindy, go ahead for your questions.
Nothing today, Murph. You touched on all the bases I was going to talk about. I'm just glad that you and Julian can at least decide to be professional enough to put your differences aside. I think Julian's interview was also along the same tone. I think you guys are in a great place to apologize to one another and, you know, bury the hatchet and move forward and both be banging wheels instead of banging noggins off the track, right? So nothing but water under the bridge, I hope, for you guys both in the future. And of course, you have the opportunity to shout out friends, family, sponsors, etc. Since you won the race today. So feel free to take as long as you'd like. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, how about Indy Alliance Racing and all the partner teams that we have, man? It's been a lot of fun driving. Seb and I wadded up not one but two Nissan NPT 89s to set today. So I think he said he just finished the second one. So we're good with that. That was a lot of fun preparing for that. I got to thank Black Magic Studios, Admin Box, everybody at P1. You guys are awesome. Keep going fast and having fun, and we'll see you. Gosh, Clindy, you and I are going to see each other. You know, you and I are going to see each other in a couple of weeks or a couple of nights, right?
2 days time, brother. Back to back.
2 days, man. I'll tell you what. I've been in this rig since 8 o'clock, off and on. I'm hot. I got to go to a daddy-daughter dance, so I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get out of here and go put a. It's black. It's a black and white ball. So Charlotte's wearing white. I'm wearing black with a checkered flag bow tie.
Okay.
That lights up. How about that?
Classy.
Yes. Yes. I don't know.
They'll be asking you to put a little pink on that suit. So
I don't know that I own a pink. Well, I take that back. I have one shirt that is like white with light blue piping on it, like white blue stripes, and it's got pink trim. Other than that, I don't know that I own a pink garment. Come to think of it.
All right. Well, we'll let you get on to the dance. That's an important thing. But I'll send you down to the you could talk to whoever you're talking to in the other in the channel there. But congratulations on the win. This is your 7th win in the series. Hopefully not your last, but we will see all things here in a week. Hopefully shake themselves out at Auto Club. And yes, we hear the little one asking, wanting your attention. So go give the attention to the little one, and we will catch you next time.
Mommy said it's late.
Mommy says I just dropped him out. I said. You know, kids are persistent. I don't care if you wave your hand at me and tell you not now. There's dad. Oh, what? Let me take a little drink here real quick. Clindy, man, a little bit of drama at the end of this race. You don't like to see that.
No, honestly, I don't think much of it was deserved. I think if you go back and watch the replay, I think it was aggressive but fair driving. I don't think anyone hit anyone intentionally. I think it was just close quarters racing that happens. There's a little bit of netcode here and there. I think cooler heads will prevail, but when there's history between the two camps, you can't help but feel to be slighted. But I know I'm not supposed to take sides or cast opinions from the commentary booth, but I feel that the moves Carroll made today were no different than the moves Wags made at Nashville, right? You take your line, you drive defensively, and maybe there's a difference between what you do at the 1/3 mark of the race and the 2/3 mark of the race, but your competitors are going to race you the way you are racing them, right? So I hope everyone can mature from it and, you know, let cool heads prevail. And I know that Julian does a very good job stewarding penalty points, and, you know, he even penalized his driver to sit out a race. So those are all things that have happened and are objective facts, and kind of the inputs or the things you do behind the steering wheel are sometimes subjective, right? And I hope that nobody takes it as a personal attack. You know, it's just people out here competing and trying hard and putting on a show for everyone on the Velocity Online Racing channel, watching at home on YouTube. So hopefully you enjoyed the show and maybe had a little popcorn with the drama there at the end.
And this is where we're going to be next week. I kept saying Chicagoland. For some reason, I thought Iconic and the IndyCar series were going to be paired up at the same track on the final weekend. But no, Chicagoland for the Iconic series. Auto Club for a 500-miler to wrap up the championship. And we'll let the B-roll run here real quick. I'm going to refresh my points page. I think points are updated. Yes, they have been updated. I will go to the standings. And Luis Nunez, this thing's clinched. It's done. He 80-point lead going into the final race. I see exactly one of the situations that Mark was talking about. Interesting. Okay. I think you're right on your assessment, Clindy. But when you get in the car and the adrenaline starts pumping, our interpretation and description is a different story. But anyways, Luis Nunez is the leader and the winner of the championship for season 13 by 80 points over Julian, who's now in second over Liam O'Sullivan. Liam is 38 behind Julian, so not quite a full race, but Liam really needs to have a good race and Julian a bad race in order for Julian to kind of give up second. I think Liam is in third, Patrick Silvazzi fourth, Murphy in fifth, Forsyth in sixth, Jesper Ormond, our defending series champion, no longer. He is seventh, Sarah in eighth, Christensen ninth, and Millward in 10th. So that is the points coming out of today's race at Homestead before we go off to now Fontana Auto Club Speedway. Let's get on out of here, Clint, to give everyone back their Saturday afternoons. Give everyone a chance to cool off. A long day of racing indeed. And we'll give everyone back their day so they can pick up their evenings, out to dinner, whatnot. Daddy-daughter dances. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium for the Homestead Miami 300 from Homestead Miami Speedway is Craig Forsyth. Mr. Consistency on the podiums of the league yet again. Another podium for him. Julian Altena, everything he needs to do to kind of clinch second, he does today as well. He is in second, and Mark Murphy gets his 7th career win here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. He is your winner today. Join us again next week for Championship Saturday here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. It's a series heads to Auto Club Speedway in Fontana to wrap up the season 13 campaign. Coverage starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Again, that's 3:00 p.m. Eastern. And remember, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com. Just search Velocity Online Racing. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support us with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. And if you're new, click subscribe, and while you at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more Velocity Online Racing's other iRacing programming, including the Iconic Series. Next Friday, 4 p.m., they will decide their championship. It's coming down to 2 drivers and 12 points at Chicagoland. That is 4 p.m. next Friday to decide a championship. For business inquiries and to learn more about Velocity Online Racing and what they do, visit velocityonlineracing.com. Like them on Facebook or follow them on X. The links are in the description. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on X and Instagram. All the links you need are in the description. So for Kyle Klendworth, everyone here at Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Godsoe saying all happy Saturday. And thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week for Championship Saturday in Fontana for the next race of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Champion. We'll see ya.